Hey, what is up everyone? It's 2019, I'm Rinku Talks, and suggested by a comment in one of my last videos, I'm going to show you all of my in-game settings as well as how I customize my UI. I think I made a video like this a long time ago, but this video will definitely be a lot more detailed and more current. Although I still will be using the old menu. You can switch the menu at any time by clicking this button, or going back by clicking this button, but once you get into the settings, everything is actually exactly the same. If at any time you want to save your UI settings along with all the settings in your settings option menu, you can actually upload your settings into the setting archive. Now when this loads in, you can click upload and upload all of your settings. So when you go on another computer or if your UI gets messed up, you can just click download and it should restore it to exactly how it was. You can only have one setting archive, I'm assuming per account. So I have one already uploaded, and that means I can click settings and reset all, and my computer breaks. No, I'm just kidding. It should load in any second now. There we go. So now with that reset, we can also reset all of my UI. And there we go. This is 100% default. Let's try to make it exactly how it was. Well, first of all, this looks hideous. So the first thing I would do is go into settings, in display, we need to make it full screen windowed again. I don't know why I put it into window mode, and full screen is probably better performance, but I like to be able to access other things on my computer while I'm playing, so we're going to put it in full screen windowed. Hit enter, done. The next thing I'm going to do is go back into display, go into display quality, put it to high textures, and remastered mode. So it looks beautiful. Okay, that may have taken a long time, but my computer finally loaded in remastered mode, and I'm still getting 45 FPS, hell yeah, good enough to make a video. The first thing I'd probably do is edit UI and hide all the things that I don't need. Specifically for making videos, sometimes I hide my chat. Everything else you might be able to relate to. Game tips, I do not need. Skill guide, maybe if I was just starting out this might be useful, otherwise I don't need it. Main quest and side quest, I'm not doing any of them right now. Maybe when I get some side quests I'll turn this back on. For now I'll just hide it. Menu button, down here in the right hand corner, you can actually hide this as well. Oftentimes I don't use it because I know all the key bindings for the menus that I need to access, so it's actually not really useful and kind of annoying. So we'll save that as preset 1. And yeah. I guess now we have to tackle the settings menu. So, let's start with performance. Right off the bat, we do not want auto frame optimization. If we did, we'd probably want it to be 60, if we can handle 60. Upscaling, this can give you more FPS, but it's upscaling, making the quality less, so we don't need that. Low power option, we do not need this. I don't know why this is all default. Attack decisions, though, we will keep on. I believe that is when it shows if you do a special attack, it will label a special attack with like down attack. It's like a visual when you hit things, I think. Anyways, optimization beta. This might be new, I have no idea, but there's options to optimize these settings. I'm assuming that if you do not have this on, it will be somewhere in the middle or something. I'm not too sure, so I'm hoping that turning this on is a good thing. We want to prioritize effects, not performance, so we can see all the player effects in PvP when it matters. Character optimization, how far away will other players be visible? I want to see as many players on the screen as possible. That's just my taste though. We also want to optimize movement frames, optimize how characters' movement frames are updated. It just sounds important. Hide other adventures. If you need to, you can turn this on. I think there's a combination. Is it Shift F5? Yeah, hide other players have been enabled, disabled. Shift F5. So you can do that anytime you want without actually coming into the setting. Next, graphics and textures. We were just here in the beginning of the video, but let's look at these settings. Texture quality, the highest. Graphics, we're on remastered mode. Ultra mode is only for God PCs, which I do not currently own. Everything else below that, I believe you want. We do not want display filter, actually. because this makes things far away kind of blurry. It's still kind of blurry, but yeah, in certain situations it makes it less blurry. Everything else I like, except for also reduced snow buildup. I like the snow building up on things. I think it makes it really shiny. I don't even know if that is the case nowadays, because I think they've changed it, especially with remastered mode, but back in the day, the very first winter was a very bright one. So you can reduce that. There was a setting that was put in right after people complained, and that has been there forever since. But I don't mind it. I like the remastered mode shine and the crazy ground glowing during Christmas, so seems good to me. Next up is camera performance. The camera vision range setting is one of the very first settings you should change if you're getting into PvP. First, we're going to zoom all the way out, and then we're going to drag the slider all the way to max. You can see how much farther I can see and how much further away I am from my character, and when you're getting into large scale PvP, this is huge. Right under that is another huge setting if you don't like camera effects. Most people that PvP don't want their camera shaking all around while they're trying to find their opponent. So we're going to turn all the camera effect settings off. There's going to be a lot more in the future. The last few settings under performance settings include workers and pets. You can show all pets, show only your pets, or hide all pets. And work progress. Show workers work progress. I actually questioned this one at first, but this actually shows your workers in the game go to work and come back to their hometown. It's kind of interesting. It also shows your guild workers and them going around. It actually says like their worker with their name, blah blah blah, and it's pretty cool unless you have a ton of guildies on the same channel, which means a ton of workers taking up some FPS on your game. I'm actually guildless right now, so turning them on, it's kind of funny. I can see my own worker go to work. I don't think it'll impact me much, but if I join a giant guild, I might have to remember that I have this setting on. Next up, we have the display settings, and we'll start with game window. First of all, I like mine windowed, like I said. You can also crop the game and change the UI scaling, but cropping the game, I don't do it because I like make a lot of videos and I live stream and I like to see the game in full screen. UI scaling kind of breaks some things. You can't really read it. All the text is just jumbled. Maybe if you have a good font mod, you can read some of the text with small UI, but without it, you might not be able to read anything. So we'll go back and change those settings to default because I do not need them. Uncrop it. UI scale is 100. Yes. Thank you very much. So this next one is kind of a weird one. Display quality under display settings is actually a combination of the optimization settings under performance settings in addition to the graphics and textures. If you change something over here, it'll actually change over here. The only difference between this and this to the other two is the inclusion of show blood spatter and show blood stains. So if you want to edit your blood settings, you want to go specifically to this one. Or if you just want to save yourself some time through going through two other options over here. I don't know why it's made like this. Don't ask me. Let's just go on to effects. These settings are a little interesting because I'm going to be turning most of them off. Non-contrast I think is the same thing as none. Nothing seems to change. Brightness is 0. Contrast will turn to 0 for now. If things are very dark, like if you're sailing in the middle of the night, sometimes I literally have to turn brightness to max and contrast to -50 just to be able to see, like a sea monster. Most of the time I turn it to 0 and 0, and I guess if it's too bright you can make it opposite, do really low gamma, really high contrast. Makes it kind of dark. Not really though, daytime still looks like day, but yeah, that's it there. Adjust the opacity of effects. This one is extremely important to see your opponent's skill effects, so we're going to leave that on. However, combat focus adjusts the intensity of the focus effect during combat. We do not want any kind of focus effect or shaking effect or anything on our camera. That is bad. The color vision aid is for colorblind people, but even for non-colorblind people like myself, it still looks badass. The color differences over default. So I feel like a lot of people just turn this on just because. And if it helps colorblind people, that's also awesome. Oh yeah, and from what I can tell, there doesn't seem to be any difference between these two options. Maybe there is a slight difference, but I honestly cannot tell. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering, I am applying all the changes as I do them in between cuts. If you don't actually click apply, none of your changes actually change. If you exit the menu and come back, you'll have to change them again, and then make sure you hit apply. So, just want to put that reminder out there. Under camera graphics, you again see the option to change your camera vision range, which we have already done, so that is fine. Camera effects is already 0, but yeah, I don't want any camera effects. So we're going to be changing this, and this, and this, and this. When I fight, all I want to see is my character fight. I want to see everything important, but I don't want my camera to be having a freak out. Click apply. The last section under display settings is for screenshots. I'm just taking 1080p screenshots because if you click 4K or 8K, it'll actually freeze your game until it loads the actual screenshot, and sometimes that is not good. I do like my PNGs though, so I'm going to go with that. Watermark intensity, we'll put it at 20%. If you want to take a screenshot without a watermark, just use a screenshot program. It isn't that hard on PC, so it is kind of annoying that you can't just change it to 0 because anyone can bypass this very easily, like I just said, but oh well. We'll make it smaller, put it to the bottom right, we'll stick with NAEU. Next up is audio settings. This is probably completely preference. For making videos and such, usually I turn music off. I never have system tray music. I don't want to listen to the game while it's in the tray. I'm not sure why you would, but if you want to, you can. I do like having a sound effect when someone whispers me. It is really nice. Ambient sound and sound effects, I do like listening to, even if I'm listening to music. It makes me more into the game. Next we have volume settings. So you can change everything. I think normally I'd have overall maxed, music maxed. Sound effects, I think was like, even 33 was extremely loud. Ambient, probably maxed it, or like 50%, I don't even know. Voice volume, that's fine. Combat sound effects, we'll again go with 33% for like combat sound effects, because they're pretty loud. Combat sound effect clarity, well, we want it to be as clear as possible, so I'm not sure why you'd affect that. I'm not too sure the specifics of that setting. Other volume of other adventures, that's fine. Fairy volume, she's kind of bossy, so I actually have had her muted for quite some time. Sorry, Fairy. The next section is general settings. Under simplification, we have 4 options. Activate aiming assist will allow you to aim at your target automatically. This is a very specific setting that you should have on if you don't know what it does, and I'm not even sure if you would ever take it off. There may be some situation with a specific class in PvP where it might be beneficial to not have this on, but I don't know the specifics of it, so I'm going to leave it at that. Quick slot actually breaks down our quick slot options and gives us double the amount of slots. It seems like mine are already out because I clicked edit UI, but normally you would have 10 skills stuck in an action bar, and I believe this separates all the quick slots. I'm actually in confusion because it looked like it already was checked. But simplify UI, I do check. Simplifies the user interface, display only important information. Not even sure what that hides, but I've always had it on, so whatever it does, it seems to be working, I guess. And screensaver. This is just something nice. If you go AFK for, I think it's probably like 15 minutes, it starts to go in cinematic screenshots and just pans around your character. Seems pretty epic. I love coming back to just seeing my character in some epic pose. For show and hide, I always show my name, because why not? But actually I show it because it also shows your HP and MP, or WP, or SP, or whatever P bar you have above your head. If you hide your name, the HP and whatever else bar you have disappear. I of course display others' names, display party members' names, show guild and clan member names, show rankings, and this is a new setting, but show stacked HP bar. I think this is still bugged, but it's supposed to change color depending on how much HP your enemy has. So however many thousand HP your enemy has, you can actually see right away. I can see if someone has almost 3,000 or over 4,000 HP just by looking at the color of their bar. So it is actually pretty nice to have when it works. Below that are some features of the game. There are some settings for effects such as highlighting your character when they enter a safe or combat zone, highlighting quest NPCs, highlighting NPCs in different colors, highlighting Conquest War allies, highlighting Conquest War non-participants. It just highlights everyone every different color depending on the situation. I have them all on. Pets, I do mostly hide them unless I'm trying to look at my pets or someone else's pets. Fairy, I guess, I mean it's showing, but show was not even checked. Let's just hide the fairy for now. I've actually had it hidden for a while, not too sure why. Maybe I'll show it in the future. Who knows? Click apply and you will disappear. Goodbye fairy. Maids and butlers. I want to see all 11 maids and butlers in my house. Here are some more repeat settings such as attack decisions, but there's also some new ones like we do not want the combat video guide. It only shows if you're below level 35, so there's really not much of a point to even turn it off, but it is kind of annoying making a new character hearing a video talk to you if you don't really care. Transparent mast is actually extremely important when you're sailing, so if you're ever wondering why your mast is not transparent and you think it will help you by turning on the setting, it's here, in case you need it. Work progress, this is another setting we already looked at, shows workers actually in the world, actually working, and that's it for this page of settings. Alerts. The things that have been popping up right here, almost the entire video now, yeah, let's just turn all of them off. I don't need any of these. I don't even need to know if I change the zone, or if I level a fitness level, or if there's a Conquest War, Guild War. I don't need any of this. The only one that maybe I would want is Black Spirits Alert. If you're in a guild, maybe a lot more of these options will apply to you, but for me, yeah, I only care if a Black Spirit has an event quest for me that will make me hella money. And just like that, the alerts disappeared. Next we have World Map. I do not want some crazy opening style when I open my map, and I want it always at the default angle so I can compare and contrast when I look at other maps that are also at default angle. It just makes things complicated if I go into a different degree settings unless I'm trying to look at something at a different angle for some reason. No thanks. Next we have language, NAEU, chat filter. We don't want a chat filter, but English, chat channel, send and receive, international because why not, but maybe you might want to pick your language somewhere over here, and yeah. Miscellaneous settings. Navigation type. Again, nothing's checked. If you right click on your minimap, usually you can figure out where you're going by just looking at the minimap, so you don't really need any, but if you want to make things fancy, you can have a guide fairy. You also can have arrows or a guideline, but the guide fairy is pretty badass, so if you want some crazy glowing thing showing you the way, check out the guide fairy. Character interactions. You can reject invites to parties, duel requests, and trades by checking these. I don't really care, but if someone spams me with trades, maybe I'll check this one eventually. Miscellaneous. In Miscellaneous, you can rotate the minimap. I would hate that, but if you want to, you can. Hide UI when attacked. No, we do not want to hide all our UI when we're in the middle of changing our settings if someone punched me. I still want to be able to, like, have my settings opened. If someone literally came to PK me in the middle of this video, I'd have to redo a lot of things because I did not have this checked. Auto run camera will change the camera pointing forward when you auto run. And I feel like this is important. If you want to look somewhere else, you can hold down the middle mouse button. I use this a lot in Shadow Arena, but this might actually be better over time if you can manage to use this. I feel like it would be more confusing, more so than it would help. So I'm going to keep it on, keep the speed to max. You can make it go slowly. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but the option's there. The last section is interface settings. The first 4 parts are actually just places where you can change your key bindings. If I wanted to change a keybind of a quick slot, I can actually just hover over it, get this red thing to appear, click change with the cogwheel icon, and set it up, and click 1, which is what it already is. But yeah, if I want to do that with anything else, I could do that instead of coming all the way in here. This is more for changing like skill combinations and other intricate things. So the only real settings in this whole section for mouse is right here. You can invert the mouse, you can change the sensitivity, which actually I will do to max. Use mouse to move is another setting that's only really useful in very specific PvP situations and only on specific classes. It's something that if you don't know what it is or how to use it, turning it on might confuse you. Honestly, it's more trouble than it's worth, but I can sometimes use it as a Dark Knight. As a Valkyrie, I'm not sure if it would do anything. Well, I don't know why my tag character settings were open, and I do not want UI mode lock because I don't want my cursor locked into the game. I have other monitors that I want to access, so that's actually it for the in-game settings. Next, we still have to tackle the rest of my UI. If you go to your main menu and click Edit UI, there are some settings. We are just here to hide some things, but let's look at these. You can show a grid, which is not too useful because it's a little bit off and I don't really like it. I'd rather just do it by eye sometimes, but it is there if you need it. Auto align is automatically selected. If you move a skill and move another one anywhere near it, it will, if close enough, there we go, auto align. No matter if it's a little bit off, it'll always go back to that. Sometimes you might not want that on if you want a skills to be going slightly lower every time, creating a unique pattern, but other times you may just want to move them all quickly and auto align. You can also adjust your character's perspective to different optimal settings or something. No, it's not really useful. I don't really know why they added this because it'd be nice if one of these just put it directly in the center, but they don't. But I guess if you want to make some cinematic screenshots and quickly change between the three, there is the setting. Custom HP bar is actually a setting that resembles some of the old UI for your HP. The information on the top left cannot be moved, but if we click this, you can see our HP bar is down here. So our HP bar, our Black Spirit's Rage, and whether we flag or not, is movable. You can move this anywhere. If you don't have the custom HP bar, you do have the flashy HP, SP for me, Rage, and all that in this nice picture, but it cannot be moved, and all the pieces are just together. None of it can be moved at all. So, it's the price I pay. Another kind of new feature I can show you is in your skills menu. So if we hit K, and we go over to skill cooldown slot, you can actually show some of your skills and their cooldowns in addition to all your quick slots. So you have 20 quick slots, and now you can have 10 additional skill cooldowns. The only difference is you can't click them or hover over them. They just show you a timer of their cooldown when they're on their cooldown. As you can see, I already have 10 of them set up from when I originally had them shown, but they are turned off. So all you have to do is turn them on and move them wherever you want. Let's hit save and see what it looks like. There they are. I highly recommend you place all your quick slots and skill cooldowns one by one exactly where you want them on the screen to your preference. Honestly, if I played a different class, my skills would probably be in a different location. I'm gonna quickly go to Setting Archive and download what I've already uploaded in the past, and hopefully it will go back to my previous settings. And there we go, my old quick slots. I have 1 through 6, which I actually press 1 through 6 on my keyboard to activate, and 7 through 9 and 0. I actually use these 4 on my mouse, so these 2 I use with my index finger, and these 2 if I need to I use with my thumb. Honestly, I don't usually use my thumb buttons too much because I have a fairy that automatically activates pots. They're more of a visual, but if I did need to activate something on my thumb, like a whale potion or something, whale elixir, whatever, I could drag them over here and activate them easily. Over here I have these quick slots on my screen to be able to click if I want to change my outfit, so I can change my crown to have my complete sets, or I could change my pay to win sets on the fly, but most of the time I just wear my normal outfit. And I click them because I don't really care to have a key binding, but if I did want to key bind it, like I said, it'd be very easy to do so. You might have noticed I don't even have my skill cooldowns on my default settings. That is actually because well, I'm trying to optimize them for Valkyrie, so I have to look into it more. I really want to make sure that the skill cooldowns I choose will actually get seen and utilized. If it's not really needed to see, then I don't really need to show it. Oh yeah, and did I mention that you can edit UI and hide your server and channel? Just hide that thing above the minimap and it's gone, unless you get a bell, but yeah. If you can just make an overlay and hide both your channel and put it right over here on the bell section, and no one will actually know your channel, but if you fail to do so, even hiding this won't really hide the bell. It's actually kind of interesting. That bell had perfect timing, otherwise I wouldn't have even mentioned it in the video. And we just looked through every single setting, so it seems like you cannot hide the bell no matter what you do. So yeah, make those overlays if you don't want to get stream sniped. I think that's everything, and I hope I helped. If you have any questions, or if you want to see how my UI changes throughout the future, make sure you check out my live stream over on twitch.tv/RinkuTalks, or just DM me on Discord. I love you, and I'll see you next time.